In this weekend's message, we learned a lot of truth about God's plan for sexuality, gender identity, and marriage. And as Pastor Jim always reminds, the Bible says that Jesus came bringing both truth and grace. So let's talk about the grace side of things. When it comes to issues related to homosexuality or gender identity or marriage, it's so easy to get caught up in the culture wars of our day, the yelling, the vitriol, the hate. And it's so easy to see those who disagree with us as hateful and as the enemy, and then to treat them as such. But Jesus never did that. While he never compromised truth, he lived in deep and radical acceptance and love of everyone, even people who disagreed with him. And that's because Jesus lived with a fundamental truth in mind, a truth that we actually talked about in week 2 of this series, that every human is made in the image of God. Think about that. It means every single person that you see, whether they're living in accordance with God's will or rejecting God's will completely, whether they're acting with kindness or they act with hate, whether they vote blue or they vote red or they don't vote at all, whether they accept people regardless of their identity or reject people solely based on their identity, everyone is an image bearer of God. So when you look at them, you're seeing the very image of God himself. This is why Jesus so equated the way that we treat each other with how we treat him. Listen to how Jesus described this as found in a biography that one of his followers named Matthew wrote about him. He said that Jesus said, "When the Son of Man comes in his glory, he will separate the people as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He'll place the sheep on his right hand and the goats on his left, and the king will say to those on his right, 'Come, you who are blessed by my Father, for I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty, you gave me a drink. I was a stranger and you invited me into your home. I was naked, you gave me clothing. I was sick, you cared for me. I was in prison and you visited me.'" And then these righteous ones will reply, "Lord, when did we ever see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink, or a stranger and show you hospitality, or naked and give you clothing? When did we ever see you sick or in prison and visit you?" And the king will say, "I tell you the truth. When you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you were doing it to me." How we treat each other matters. Never forget that. While there might be real differences in belief and even feelings of hurt because of those differences, we can never forget that the person we disagree with is an image bearer of God himself. And no truth should be used as an excuse to show anything but grace and love to someone who was created in his image.